Tommy wouldn't debate someone like him. He knows that Dan will put him in his place. He doesn't want to debate another white man. Tommy wants to debate brown people with low IQ. Tommy's not a debater. Tommy's not an academic. Tommy's not anything.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. If you're watching this video and it's salah time, please pause it and go pray and come back when you're done. Please check out the description section of this video to support the channel. Recently, I covered a Twitter back and forth between Tommy Robinson and Dan Bilzerian, where far-right dwarf Tommy was angry at pro-Palestinian entrepreneur Dan for calling out Israel's war crimes. After Tommy Robinson ran his mouth online, Dan Bilzerian challenged him to a debate, which Sneako offered to host. I've linked the previous video I did covering this in the description section to give you more context. And after Tinkerbell Tommy chickened out, Muslim brothers Mohammed Hijab and Sneako linked up to share a few choice words about his cowardice. Let's have a look.
We tried to set up a debate with Dan Bilzerian and Tel Aviv Tommy Robinson. Tommy he refused. He didn't respond to it. He ran away from the debate, unfortunately.
Tommy Robinson has run away from multiple debates, and Dan, from my understanding, has a greater reach than Tommy Robinson, and he's more well-known, more respected. He's come out and said some fantastic things about Palestine. He's shown to be open-minded. We have good opinions about this man, and we hope that he continues with this principled stance, because, to be honest with you, he's shown quite a good level of courage and valor in the face of these ops and enemies that are on social media. Tommy wouldn't debate someone like him because he knows that the crowd will be against him. He knows that Dan will put him in his place because he speaks sense. He doesn't want to debate another white man. Tommy wants to debate brown people with low IQ. That's the usual target. He wants to debate somebody who's an unknown quantity with a very low IQ. Tommy's not a debater. Tommy's not an academic. Tommy's not anything. He's a street agitator that's not even an agitator on the streets of the UK, because he agitates from Greece when other people and his lackeys and followers and whipping boys here in the UK will do his work for him because they feel disenfranchised and have no one else to go to.
I mean, Dan's not a debater either. Dan Bilzerian is a business mogul, is a poker player. He does not have a debate background whatsoever, so I thought it was pretty well matched. And also they had a back and forth on Twitter. What's his name? Tommy Robinson was accusing myself and Dan Bilzerian of being paid by Iran and Saudi. And I had this funny conversation with Dan. If someone was going to offer us money to pose and take pictures with the Quran, I would take the money. If somebody was offering up giant sums of money in order to promote Islam, I would gladly take it, but there is none.
What Tommy Robinson is doing is psychological projection, because he is on the record of getting money through Zionist entities. So he thinks everyone deals with life the way he deals with it. You know, he gets money over morals, all these kind of things. He's on the record of getting funds and stuff like that, and people have shown, Loki, for example, has shown the trail to the Zionist causes. And so he's projecting, he's saying, oh, you know, Sneako's getting money from Saudi Arabia. But somehow now, I didn't know that Saudi Arabia was offering money for people that are doing dawah. So that's the first time I've heard of it, because if they were, I mean, I've been in the game for a very long time. I think I'm the first one in the line that should be getting some money from the Saudis, to be honest with you.
As the brother said, Tommy Robinson is all hype. He's an online scammer that runs away from face-to-face confrontation, both verbal and physical. Mohammed Hijab spoke very highly of Dan Bilzerian, acknowledging the courage and honour Dan has displayed in being an excellent spokesperson for Palestine and Islam recently. Brother Mohammed also called out the fact that even though Dan Bilzerian is more well-known and of higher status than Tommy Robinson, Tommy is just too afraid to accept the opportunity to debate him and in turn raise his own profile further, because Tommy lacks the intellectual prowess to go toe-to-toe with someone that is more intelligent and well-respected. Brother Hijab stated that Tommy wants to debate brown people with a low IQ, as he called it. I'll be a little bit more specific. Tommy wants to humiliate and demonize Muslims, so he has an endless amount of content for his monetized X account so he can get paid by fellow Zionist puppet Elon Musk. Mohammed Hijab also labelled Robinson's followers as powerless idiots with no purpose in life. They aimlessly follow a moron like Tommy and do his dirty work for him while he cashes in on their stupidity. Brother Sneako said he spoke to Dan Bilzerian about the situation, and they were both amused by the fact that Zionist shill Tommy was accusing them of being funded by Iran and Saudi. Mohammed Hijab in response took the same position as I did in my previous video, and that was that Tommy is projecting because he is a paid Israeli prostitute pushing the interests of Israel over Britain, and he's envious that we stand for the truth and the freedom of Palestine for free. Both Sneako and Mohammed Hijab jokingly said that if Saudi were funding the dawah, they would happily accept, with Brother Mohammed hilariously stating he is owed the most for the decades of work he has put in. By the way, if Saudi Arabia does start funding the dawah, please send my share to Palestine. It's the least they could do considering their silence and inaction. Let's take a look at the next clip.
It's a modest cause, genuinely. I mean, the thing is, the dawah is a very modest cause, and you'll find that no one probably offered you anything in the time. The only thing we offer in Islam is truth and brotherhood. And that's all the things we need.
That's it. Dan Bilzerian, same thing. He's saying that he's only lost money talking about this. He's lost millions of dollars. People have pulled out of his businesses. His shareholders want to get rid of him as the CEO because he's speaking up about Palestine. It's a cause that you lose a lot for, but you gain in nobility and respect from the community.
Look, the people who have stood up for these causes are going to be etched in history as people who spoke the truth. People like Muhammad Ali, people like Malcolm X. There's no question, even at their time, if you read Malcolm X's autobiography, which I know that you have, you'll find that he found people in his time really opposing him, for what he was saying. They considered him to be an extremist. They considered him to be out of the ordinary, and he was fighting against the tide. But at the end of the day, this is actually what gives us meaning and power and strength. We can either decide to be sheep or shepherd. There's no third option in the age of social media now. Either decide to bring people to a noble cause and to the truth, or you can decide to follow everyone else in what they're doing and go with the modern ideology of the day, and you'll be forgotten and rendered irrelevant in the dustbins of history, the trash heap of history. Or you could decide to speak the truth, and then you can have a legacy which is, inshallah, from our perspective as Muslims, sadaqatun jariyah, or this idea of a continual charity. After you die, if you leave something good, then your good deeds continue. Like, for example, if you leave an orphanage, or for example, if you leave a water well, or for example, if you've left good knowledge or good dawah that brings people to Islam and that removes the doubts away from the people, this kind of thing, we believe, will continue after your death in a spiritual sense and in a material sense. What they have is not going to continue even within their own lives, let alone after their death.
Mohammed Hijab called it, doing dawah is a modest and noble cause. We stand for Islam because it is our duty as Muslims, and we represent our brothers and sisters in Palestine because we are one ummah, regardless of race or nation, and because it's the right thing to do. Brother Sneako responded that Dan Bilzerian has actually lost millions of dollars speaking up for Palestine, as well as receiving backlash on both a personal and professional level. And this is a very important point, because even on a smaller scale, if you're posting about Palestine, social media platforms will limit your reach, shadow ban your account, and censor you within the algorithm. And honestly, I don't know how long I'll be online before I'm banned, and if so, so be it. Mohammed Hijab made the point that truth matters over clout every time. I agree wholeheartedly. He even referenced historic Muslim figures like Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali as examples of people that stood against injustice in their own time, that we should all look to as a source of inspiration. Brother Muhammad stated that people like Tommy Robinson that can be bought and sold are irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, as there are millions of copycat sellouts just like him, and that the good deeds we do with the aim to help others, whether that be online or in person, is a form of sadaqah jariyah, meaning a special form of charity that continues to provide benefit to its recipients long after the original donation or action. May Allah SWT guide us all to help our fellow Muslims as best we can, and to also be great examples of faith and goodness to our fellow human beings in general. Thank you for watching. Make sure to join my free Telegram group via the link in the description, where we as Muslims can speak freely and without censorship about issues like this. And remember to like, subscribe and become a channel member for access to exclusive content. Until next time, inshallah, Jazakallah khair. Allahu Akbar, Allah.